Arne Slot needs to go. He is clearly out of his depth and he cannot coach a team that can consistently win games. Now, to be honest, even if you did not actually say this out loud at some points this season, you probably thought it, right? The results have been inconsistent, the performances have been even worse at times, and what makes it all feel heavier is on the fact that we are the defending league champions. On top of that, we had a summer transfer window that people were calling historic. There was so much hype, so many expectations, and yet here we are fighting just to secure a place in the Champions League. So the easy answer is that this is all down to Arne Slot and his poor coaching, right? Well, maybe it's not that simple. Now, if you are a part of the Arne Slot out crowd, we get it. We really do. The frustration is real. But before you start booing us through the screen, just hear us out. Let us explain our point of view first, and if you enjoy these kind of honest discussions, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We truly appreciate the support. Now, let's get into it. Before we go any further, we need to clear a few things up. Do we think Arne Slot is perfect? Of course not. We have said many times on this channel that our out-of-possession game has been poor this season. We have talked about how certain players have not been used in the best way. We have questioned some of the in-game decisions and substitutions that left us confused. So yes, Slot is not free from blame, but lately the conversation has shifted. People are saying that the team looks badly coached, that we have no ideas, that we play too slow, that there is no clear system, and that is where things start to get interesting. We believe the whole idea is simply exaggerated. The poor results and the inconsistent performances just added more fuel to the fire, and honestly, that fire did not need any more fuel in the first place. Yes, we have had some terrible games with the ball, no one is denying that. But overall, Liverpool are not a poorly coached side, and we are here to show you why. So let us break down a few sequences. We will start with an example from our recent FA Cup win against Brighton. In this moment, we recycled the ball and played it all the way back to the backline. Now watch closely because this is where structure comes in. Once Van Dijk receives the ball, Kerkers immediately understands that he has to drop into the back line. He does not hesitate. At the same time, this movement is the signal for Wirtz to drop deeper into the midfield. These are small details, but they matter. So let us look at it step by step. When Kerkers joins the defenders, we form a flat back three. The idea behind this is simple. We want to invite pressure. We want Brighton to step forward. The more they push up, the more space opens between their lines. The space is exactly what we are trying to attack. Now focus on Wirtz. As he drops into midfield, he makes sure he is not standing on the same line as the other two midfielders. He creates a staggered shape. That small adjustment opens up the passing lane for a diagonal ball from Van Dijk. And this is where quality meets structure. Our captain spots it and plays a brilliant disguise pass straight into Wirtz. The timing is perfect. From there, Wirtz combines well with his teammates and continues his run. He ends up receiving the ball again inside the penalty box, which already tells you how well the move was constructed. We like the fact that he takes on the defender in a 1-against-1 situation. He shows confidence and courage, but at the same time, this is where the final decision has to be better. If you look at the replay, the cutback option is right there. A simple pass across goal could have created an even bigger chance. So when people say this team has no structure or no clear ideas, moments like this tell a different story. The patterns are there, the movements are coordinated. The issue, more often than not, is what happens in the final action. Now we could sit here and show you many more examples from that same Brighton game. There were plenty of movements where the structure was clear and the patterns were obvious. But we're not going to do that for two reasons. First, it is only fair that we look at a game where things did not go well, a match where the performance was poor and the result was not good enough, because if we only show you good moments, that would not be honest. Second, we already broke down that Brighton game in much more detail in our post-match analysis that we uploaded recently. Now let us switch gears and move on to a different match. This example comes from the 0-0 draw against Leeds at home. And let us be real, that game was frustrating. The result was disappointing, especially in Anfield, but what made it even worse was the performance, particularly in the second half. It was flat, it lacked energy, at times it even felt like one of our worst showings this season. But here is the interesting part. Even in a game like that, even in a performance that left everybody annoyed, there were still clear signs of good coaching. You might have not noticed them in the moment because of how you felt overall, but they were there. So let us show you exactly what we mean. Here you can see Bradley getting ready to receive the ball. That moment created a 2 against 2 on the right side, with Bradley and Frimpong up against Leeds' left midfielder and left back. And this is where the details come in. Watch Bradley closely. He makes a double, almost triple movement just to lose his marker, and creates a bit of separation. It is not random. He checks one way, then the other, making sure he has the space to receive properly. As soon as he plays the pass, he does not stand still. He immediately bursts forwards to support this move and offer the return option. That quick give and go is clearly something working on in training. Then when Bradley receives the ball higher up the pitch in the final third, the roles switch. This time it is Frimpong who provides the support, staying close and ready to receive it back. The understanding between the two is clear. The timing of their movements shows structure and planning. Now yes, the cross that followed was not great. It was average at best, and Leeds managed to clear it. But look where the ball drops. It falls straight to Gravenberch in a very dangerous area, just outside the box with space around him. That is not luck, that is a result of numbers in the right areas. And this is where the next decision becomes crucial. Grav had options. He could have slipped Robertson in, who was free on the left, and could have taken the shot from a better angle, or Robertson could have delivered a cross from the left half space. They also could have doubled up on Leeds' left back with Wirtz and created an overload. Another option was to play Szoboszlai or Jones, turn it into a small-sided combination, and try to break through with quick passes. And do not forget, Wirtz had made a very clever run on the blind side of his marker inside the box, which was another dangerous option for a cross. But instead of picking any of those choices, Gravenberch goes for a shot from distance. And honestly, it was the worst possible decision in that moment. The shot was blocked easily and the chance was gone. So again, when people say there are no ideas or no patterns, moments like this show something different. The structure gets us into good positions, the movements are coordinated. The real issue here is the final decision once we get there. Here is another example from the same game, and we'll keep this one short. This shows a pattern that has been part of our play since last season. It is the up, back and through pattern. If you pause the frame, you can clearly see how the players are positioned in a diagonal line. That shape is important because it opens up the passing lanes and sets up the whole move. The sequence starts with Jones playing the pass back into Hugo. Hugo then flicks it back first time, keeping the tempo high and not allowing Leeds to reset. That quick back pass sets up the final action as Szoboszlai steps in and plays the through ball towards Wirtz, who times his third man run perfectly. The idea is simple but effective. One pass forward, one pass back, and then a killer pass in behind. It is a rehearsed pattern. The timing of the run, the positioning of the players, and the speed of the passes all show that this is something worked on in training. Sadly, the move does not end the way it should. Wirtz finds himself outnumbered once he receives the ball, and instead of looking for support or releasing it early, he chooses to dribble. It turns out to be the wrong decision, and the chance fades away. But once again, the key point is this. The pattern is there, the structure is there, the coaching ideas are visible. What lets us down in this moment is not the system, but the final choice at the end of it. You see, the way players position themselves, the timings of their movements, what they do before they receive the ball, the rotations to drag one opponent away and free up space for someone else, these are all signs of good coaching. These things do not happen by accident. You coach players on where to stand, when to move, and how to create the best possible situation based on their strengths. After that, you give them the freedom to solve the problem in front of them and make the final decision. And if you noticed in these clips we showed, the structure was there. The patterns were clear, but the decisions at the end of these moves were poor. The execution was not good enough. Wrong pass, wrong shot, wrong dribble. And that has been the story in many games this season. It is not always about not having ideas. Sometimes it is about not making the right choice in the final moment. But that is not the only issue. We keep calling the summer transfer window historic, and it still is. The level of talent brought in is top class, and if you look closely, almost every new signing is starting to show why they were brought here in the first place. They're beginning to deliver on the pitch. The only real exceptions have been Isak and Frimpong, and even that is mostly down to injuries which have slowed them down. However, one thing we did not fix last summer was replacing Trent, and that is huge. He was not just another player. His passing range alone is something very few players in this world can offer. Losing that kind of quality from deep areas is always going to hurt us. It is no surprise that one of the reasons behind our inconsistent performances is the lack of a proper deep playmaker in the squad. Gravenberch is not a 6, never been and never will be. The one reason he can't control games and spray balls from behind, and that is something that affects our style when we have possession. Right now, Szoboszlai is pretty much the only one who can consistently play those passes over the top or break lines from deeper positions. That is a big responsibility for one player. Now again, we are not saying Slot is free from blame, not at all. Even with all the issues that we've mentioned, he has not helped himself with some of his selections and decisions. Curtis Jones should have started many more games. Kerkez has only recently been used in a role that actually fits his profile. But Hugo and Curtis have not played together enough, especially against low blocks, where close combinations are key. These are coaching choices, and those are on Slot. So to wrap this up, what are we really saying here? We're not saying that everything is perfect. We're not saying Arne Slot has been amazing in every single game, and we are definitely not saying criticism comes from nowhere. The frustration is real. The results have not been good enough. The performances have left a lot to be desired. But what we are saying is this. The idea that this team is poorly coached, that there is no structure, no patterns, no clear plans, that is simply not true. The movements are there, the rotations are there, the build-up structures are there, time and time again we get into good areas. The bigger issue has been the final decision, the final pass, the final shot. Football at this level is decided in those small moments. Now it's up to Slot and the players to fix those details and find more consistency. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you still Slot out, or do you see the bigger picture? If you enjoyed today's video, as always, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more.